Hey everyone, it's Arkondus Gaming. Thank you for tuning in to another Project Ascension video. Today we're going to be checking out the build for my current PvP character. I thought I wasn't going to have a lot of fun playing PvP on the server now that you can pick your own abilities, but with a lot of help from the people on my Discord and the community in general, I've come to a build that isn't perfect, but has my playstyle and I've been having a lot of fun with. So as you can see, it's a Mutilate, Poison, Bleed build, and with some added extra abilities from other classes to go ahead and not only boost its damage capabilities, but its defensive capabilities as well. So first we're going to go over the gear, then we'll go over the Mystic Enchants, the build, and then of course at the end we're going to go ahead and show off a bunch of arena games that I played today. But if you want to skip around, I'm going to put timestamps in the description below so you can skip around, or if you want to watch the whole video, cool. So we're going to go ahead and start with the gear. Now, I don't have the best gear in the world. I do have a full set of the blue PvP gear. Now, some of these are the heroic version, some of these are the normal version, but I'm working my way and building up, all the honor I can to go ahead and get the heroic version. But we go ahead and get a full set of this, if you so choose. And then the off pieces are pretty bad, I must admit. The neck, it's a PvE neck. It's honestly, it's trash. Haven't found a really good neck yet, but I'll probably find one soon. The cloak, again, not too great. These are both PvE gear. Once I get my rating up, I'm sure I can buy the off pieces to upgrade these. And then the bracers are pretty trash as well. Decent stats, but we can definitely find better. And then the belt is the Arathi Basin mail belt. I copied this off Need Healing. I saw his belt, I'm like, damn, I gotta copy that. So that's why I picked this up. Really good stats. And then the rings, Mason's Fraternity ring, which you get from the Tanar's quest. Not the greatest either, but we did pick up the Legionnaire's band through honor. Of course, PvP trinket, and then Piccolo of Flaming Fire. Now this is just for the Mystic Enchant, but I definitely need to upgrade my gear for sure. But as you see, we climb pretty well, even though we have these some of these bad pieces. But the weapon isn't too bad. At least our main hand is the Fang of the Faceless, and then our offhand is the Shadowfoot Stabber. Not the worst, but of course we still can get better. It is a PvP weapon, or PvE weapon. And then our gun is the Gutbuster. So yeah, that's the gear that we're currently rocking. Not the best gear, need a few upgrades, but we still can be very effective. Now moving over to the Mystic Enchants, we have Vitality, which just increases our energy regeneration. The more energy we get, of course, the more damage we can put out, so that's always a plus. Puncturing Runes, we have 2 out of 3, which just increases the critical chance of our Mutilate. And the Puncturing Runes, the critical chance of that is going to combo in with our legendary enchant that we're rocking for this build, the Festering Wounds legendary enchant, which basically all we're benefiting from this is the Mutilate critical strikes restore 15 energy. So with this build, we aren't really using any other poison besides Mind Numbing and Wound Poison. So we're not going to benefit from the poison damage from this, but the Mutilate benefits are really good because we spam Mutilate pretty much. And then for our next Mystic Enchant, we're going into Opportunity, which just increases the damage for our Mutilate and Garrote abilities by 3%. Darting Shadows, I could replace this with another Puncturing Wounds, but I kind of like when I vanish, I just gain that 50% movement speed. I think movement is really important, so this definitely helps. Moving on to our next epic Mystic Enchant is Foul Play. Your Kidney Shot now has silences the target. Has now? Did I read that right? Your Kidney Shot has now silences. Okay, that's how it's written. I thought I was losing my mind. For up to 3 seconds or until your Kidney Shot expires, whichever comes first. So even if they trinket your Kidney Shot, you'll go ahead and get a silence, from my understanding. So that's always good as well, because typically people wait for the kidney and trinket that. So having that 3 seconds of silence really helps. And moving along to our next Mystic Enchant is Serrated Blades. So causes your attacks to ignore up to 1% of your target's armor and increases damage dealt by your rupture by 3%, attack 3 times. And then Blood Spatter increases the damage caused by your Garrote and rupture. So the main focus of this build really is to kind of rot down your enemy with bleeds, but then throw in Big Burst with Cold Blood Eviscerate while you're CCing and really controlling the fight. So that's what you kind of want to do, is control the fight while they rot and surprise them with some burst damage. So super fun builds. We'll go ahead and go into the talents and abilities now. So now we'll go into the talents and abilities for the build. I could go down and scroll down here and tell you everything, but I feel like it'll look better if I go ahead and start from the top left, move to the right, and show you the talents on the tree and everything. So that's what we'll do. So we're starting off with the Resto Druid. We went ahead and put 3 points into Omen of Clarity, which gives us a 6% chance to go ahead and enter Clear Casting. And when you enter Clear Casting, the next ability that you use is free. So the thing that we try to fish for the most is having a clear casted Mutilate, because Mutilate is 50 energy. It's probably the most expensive thing in the build. So having a free Mutilate is huge, not only for damage but for gaining those combo points. So this is definitely a good talent to have for this build for sure. And then we went into Regrowth for just a heal. You could really get any heal you want, but I typically enjoy Regrowth because it does give the heal over time after you do use it. And I don't find myself healing for the most part. I'm typically the really offensive player. Even if they bubble, I have an ability to go ahead and cancel that out. But we do have a heal just in case. You know, if they're cutting us out too hard, we can get behind a pillar and heal and try to reset for stealth. So that's what we have, Regrowth. Moving along to the Fire Mage, we did pick up Dragon's Breath, and I was told about this ability, and it has definitely changed this build for the better. So Dragon's Breath does some fire damage, but what we're really using it for is the disorient. So it does 2.5 seconds of disorient to the target, and disorient means for this one specifically, they can't break out of it. So even as you're damaging the enemy, you Dragon's Breath, and you can still apply more damage on them. And that's really big, way better than blind, because once, if you blind someone, they break on damage. This one typically doesn't. At least I haven't seen it. And then we did put 2 points into the Firestarter talent to go ahead and increase the duration of that Dragon's Breath by 1.5 seconds. So even if they trinket out of disorient or something, you can use it as a kick or just to try to reset and get back into stealth. So Dragon's Breath, a really great ability to have for this specific build. And then moving into the Paladin trees, I did pick up Cleanse. It does cost 3 ability essence, but from my experience, you get dotted up a lot, and things like Hunter's Mark, Serpent Sting, and these other priest dots, you can cleanse it off of you, so you can get the re-stealth. So that's really, really important to have. If you don't have this stuff, you gotta wait for the 30-second or 20-second Serpent Sting to fall off. But just having Cleanse really does help you reset the fight, or just cleanse off some damage if you're getting kited. As you'll see, I use Cleanse a good amount, not all the time, but a good amount to go ahead and not only mitigate some damage, but get the re-stealth. And then moving on to the Protection Paladin tree, I mean, Divine Shield, I hate to say it's a most for most builds. It just completely stops all damage and saves you a lot, so you can either try to re-stealth or just apply more pressure. You'll see I win some fights because of Divine Shield. It is 6 ability essence, but it's such a strong ability. Even if someone has Shattering Throw, whatever dots you do have on you can be negated, or any expected burst, like if you see them Blade Storming, you don't have your Disarm up, it'll mitigate that damage as well. I feel dirty for having it, but Divine Shield is a really great ability to have in any build. And then moving on to the Priest, we did put points into Psychic Horror. So not only does this fear, but it also disarms the target for 7 seconds. It's not a 1.5 second cooldown. Okay, it's a 120 second cooldown. But again, this is for your Blade Stormer or any melee that's really messing you up with all their cooldowns and bursts. You can go ahead and stop it. Not only stop their character from moving with the fear, but disarm them afterwards. You can also use this against any casters to stop them in their tracks, so you can catch up a little bit. Or after your kidney shot is done, if you see they trinket your kidney shot, you can go into a Psychic Horror and make them stay in place for a little longer. So a really good ability to have, and in general, if you're against a melee, this really, really helps. Okay, so moving on to the the hefty part of the build, we do put a lot of points into Rogue, of course. And we'll go ahead and start with the assassination tree, or assassination abilities, and then go into the talents. So we pick up Eviscerate, we get Garrote, Poisons, Rupture, and Kidney Shot. Of course, these are all the standard stuff. We don't get Cheap Shot anymore because what I was, from my experience and what I was told, Cheap Shot does share a diminishing returns, or does share diminishing returns, with Kidney Shot. So if you Cheap Shot and then Kidney Shot afterwards, your Kidney Shot won't be as long as it should. So I find that really sucks. I mean, it is nerfed, but it makes sense. So we always open with Garrote for the silence. This hurts casters a lot, and just puts up the bleed. And since we have all these talents, increases the damage of a Garrote. Definitely good to have. And then of course Rupture for the extra bleed, Eviscerate for the burst damage, Kidney Shot for the stun, and Poisons for the mind numbing and wound poison. And then moving into the talents for the assassination tree, we do go into improved Eviscerate. Now these are just 3 points I tossed in. We can move these 3 points around a little bit, but I like the big damage from Eviscerate. I like that big burst, so I have 3 points into that. We have 5 points into Malice to go ahead and gain energy back from Garrote and Rupture, as well as increase our crit chance. Blood Spatter, of course, to increase the damage of our bleeds. Vigor to increase our maximum energy to get more abilities out. Puncturing Wounds to increase the critical strike chance. Critical chance by 30%. Wow. Oh, no. Okay, that's backstab. Okay. I thought it was 30% for Mutilate. I totally read that wrong. So it increases the critical chance of our Mutilate. In Puncturing Wounds, we go Lethality to increase the critical strike damage of our rogue abilities. Cold Blood, again, for that instant Eviscerate, instant 5-point Eviscerate to do that huge burst and catch the enemy off guard. So next we have Seal Fate. So your critical strikes from rogue abilities that add combo points have a 100% chance to add an additional combo point. So when we crit with Mutilate, we get 3 points instead of 2. And then also increases our damage by Rupture and Eviscerate by 10%. Moving down into Overkill, we have 2 points into this. So while stealth and 20 seconds afterwards, we regenerate 40% additional energy. Moving on to Deadly Brew. So this allows us to have Mind Numbing and Wound Poison on, because with this, our Mind Numbing Poison has a 100% chance to apply Crippling as well, which slows the target, so we can have 3 poisons on the target at once. Find Weakness increases our critical chance with rogue abilities by 6% and allows our Garrote to be able to crit. And then of course at the end we have Mutilate, which gives us all our combo points and does the damage for us, or some of the damage. Moving on to the combat rogue spells and talents. Of course we pick up Sprint, Evasion, and Kick. With Sprint and Evasion, I'll talk about that in a second, but improved Sprint, it reduces the cooldown, and then when we use it, it breaks us out of any movement impairing effects and makes us immune to them for 2 seconds. So this is really good to have if you're CC'd with like Frost Nova or Wing Clip or something like that, or Hamstring, anything that stops you from moving, you can go ahead and sprint out of it. And then we have improved Kick. So when we kick someone and stop a cast, we have a 100% chance to grant 40 energy and silence the target by 3 seconds. So this is good. Just if you're against a caster, kick any ability. Not only does it silence them, but you gain energy back. And this is really good when people typically bubble, they go for a heal. So with Shattering Throw, we can go ahead and throw that, kick them, so they're going to be locked out, and we get energy back for more damage. And then the last talent in the Combat Rogue, we have Vitality, which again just increases our energy regeneration by 40%. So with this, and when we come out of Stealth and with our Mystic Enchant, we're getting a lot of energy regeneration to go ahead and use our abilities. So now we're going into the Subtlety tree for our abilities. Of course, we have Stealth and Vanish, which are musts for the build. And Vanish, really good if you want to use it offensively. You can to get another Garrote and another Silence, or you can use it defensively to either relieve some pressure or get out so you can go ahead and reset. And then we do have Sap as well, which isn't needed, but it's a pretty fun ability. If you're 2v2, 3v3, or in like battlegrounds, you can go ahead and sap a target and get onto another one. Or if they trinket your sap for some reason, you can go full on that target, force a bubble, or have them sit a full kidney. But sap really fun to have, but not needed. And then moving into the talents, we don't have points into Master of Deception, but I've been finding that you get caught out of stealth a lot farther than you would think. So in a situation like this, we could probably take off points from Eviscerate and go into Master of Deception. But that's something that I'm playing around with. But if I don't want to use Shadow Step for the opener and creep in a little bit closer, I probably would want to go Master of Deception for sure. And then moving into Opportunity, we have 2 points into it to increase our Mutilate and Garrote damage by 20%. Moving along to Preparation. Of course, this is a must-have. It resets the cooldown of your Evasion, Sprint, Vanish, Cold Blood, and Shadow Step. So it gives you, I mean, this is self-explanatory why you should have this in a build. When all the abilities that can reset, we have. So yeah, pick up Preparation for sure. And then Dirty Deeds. So this reduces the energy cost by Garrote by 20, and your Rogue specials have a 20%. Cause 20% more damage against targets below 35%. Also gives your Shadow Step 100% chance to restore energy. So this gives a lot of different stuff. Reduces your Garrote so you have more energy on the opener. Your Rogue specials cause more damage when they're 30% health or lower, so kind of like an execute thing going on. And you can use your Shadow Step, offensively. If you're against a melee and you find yourself short on energy, you can go ahead and use Shadow Step for that extra energy. And then at the end of the subtlety tree, of course, we do have Shadow Step, which is going to be our main gap closer. We're going to be relying on this a lot for the energy and just to close the gap. So that's it for all the rogue stuff. And then the last thing we're dealing with here is Shattering Throw. And again, this is a self-explanatory ability. A lot of people, if not 95% of the people you play against, will have a bubble or some sort of immunity. So this is good to go ahead and use, catch them off guard if they're trying to heal and then kick the heal, or just, cancel all that, all that immunity out. So Shattering Throw, again, I feel like is a must-have, as well as Divine Shield, of course. But that's it for the talents and abilities. So I hope you guys enjoyed the little build guide there. Hopefully I explained everything as good as I can. But now it's time for the PvP. So again, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the video.
in my shell, now I'm gasping for my life. Running on this sickness, covering this guidance. sinking farther, so free from going under. Will I hate to love again? I'll never be enough. I've never been enough. Watch me bleed and fall into the nothing. I'm closer to the I can't feel anything. My heart's collapsing, cold dry drown all day. The feeling of my blood rushing through my veins are bruised and swollen. The rush of it all means more than life. I've made my decisions, no boundary. It's my enemy. I'm destroying me. I can't fight the way it feels inside of me. Comatose to sleep, drunk so painfully. This addiction I fight is my enemy. The needle tears inside my soul. I'm killing the pain nobody knows. Slowly fading, it slips my veins. Hoping the fix will take the pain. It's my enemy. I'm destroying me. I can't fight the way it feels inside of me. Comatose to sleep, drunk so painfully. This addiction I fight is my enemy. It's my enemy. I'm destroying me. I can't fight the way it feels inside of me. Comatose to sleep, drunk so painfully. This addiction I fight is my enemy.
So again, thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. This video was longer than expected, but I wanted to get all videos of me losing and winning. There's still a lot for me to learn with this build. So again, if you have any tips or anything that can help me out, please let me know in the comments below. But again, thank you so much and have a wonderful day. See you next time.